Hello everyone. In the previous session, we have learned how to add a config.ini, how to add a conf test.py, and now in this session, we are going to add desired capabilities, and we are going to add a function to create a Appium driver by making use of desired capabilities dynamically, and we are going to use those desired capabilities and the driver in the particular test, and we are going to execute the test to just launch the application. So let's begin with the session. So this is a framework and which we in the previous session we have added conf test.py and the config.ini. Now I am going to create a one package called model here. I'll tell you why I'm calling it as a model. So here model means object, right? It can hold some of the information. You can call any name, but I thought of calling it as a model so that it can hold some of the information as objects and throughout the framework, right? And this is a package, and inside that I'm going to create a particular file that is options, right? So in this options options file, I'm going to create an object called options, and here in the Python we can write functions without even using the class. Right? It is not like a Java. We can directly go and write the functions, but it is a best practice to use a class and the methods. Why? Because when we are going to write a framework and when we are going to scale this particular framework to a larger extent, right, we will not be able to pass the functions and will not be able to call the functions effectively. If it is belongs to a particular object, right, and we can categorize and make it reusable easily. So that's why always remember that we are going to use class and object while building a framework. So here I'm going to create options, and here I'm going to create a method called get options. Get options is nothing but the get desired capabilities which we are going to use it in our Appium server. So I'm saying options XUI test options. In options I'm going to add several details here. So before adding details into options, I need to import the configurations, config.ini, whatever I have here. I need to refer all these values in my desired capability, so I need to import all that configurations. So what I'm going to write here is config equals to config parser. This is the built-in library which will help us to read the configuration file, and config parser and config dot sections. Right here, this will read the different sections we have in our config. As of now, we have only one, and config dot read. So here it is going to read the configuration file. So here I need to provide the path of that config.file. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to refer the root directory which we have created in the conf test. So it is going to help us with the root directory, a root path of the given project, and after root directory config.ini. That means the root directory means is a project file, and inside project file I have config.ini. So this is a path. So even if you are going to run this particular test case in a different machine also, so no need to worry about the path. So it will directly dynamically it will fetch the root directory and the respective config.ini. Cool. So this is about configuration. So once I create the configuration file, here I'm reading the config file from config parser, and here I'm mentioning the path of it. Now I'm going to use this configuration in the options. How I will make use of configuration is options dot platform name, and here in this I'm going to refer this config. So I'll say that config, and in this config I'm going to refer the sections, that is options. Under options I have platform name. So how do I fetch the platform name? This is a key. When I say platform name key, and it will fetch the iOS. Now options dot platform version. Similarly, I'm going to fetch all the details from this config. That means platform version, nothing but iOS version. Here I have added all the details, the device name, automation name, bundle ID, and the UD ID. Whatever details I have it in this config.ini, I have added all those options under this get options. Now one more thing which I need to add here is options dot use new WDA. That means while building an application, while starting an application, the Amazon application, use the WebDriver agent which is newly built. So this flag I am making it as a true. By default it will be a false, so I am making it as a true. So now the options is done. What I am going to do, the next thing is I am going to create a driver. So for that I am going to create another directory called driver manager. In this driver manager I am going to create a Python file called driver. Again, in this also I'm going to create a class called driver. So here I'm going to create a method called create driver and the return, and inside that I'm going to create options. So here I need to fetch the options which I have created here in the model, right? So here I'm creating object for that, and I will import this name model options dot, I have a method get options. So here it will fetch me all these details dynamically when I say get options. Cool. So coming back here again, I'm saying that driver equals to web driver, right? And remote, here I need to mention the path of the Appium server name, and here I'm going to mention the port also 4726. This you can change it as you want, right? And here I need to pass the options, whatever options I've got from this method I'm going to pass the same thing here, right? Now WebDriver is showing this error, so I'm just going to import this from Appium WebDriver. Once I create the driver, I need to return this driver. So I'll just summarize whatever we have done it. So first we have created this options object, and in this options we are going to refer all these desired capabilities which we have added in this config.ini. And how we have read this config.ini is by using the config parser, which is a built-in function, and I'm getting all the configuration here. By using the sections, I'm assigning all the values one by one. So once this configuration is done, all the options are created, I'm going to create a driver class here. In this driver class, I'm going to create a one method here. That method is reading all the desired capabilities and assigning it to the remote method. Then once I get the driver, I am just returning that driver. So now we are done with the options and we are done with the driver also. Now I'm just directly going to create a test case, new directory test. Here I'm going to create a file called test underscore launch application. Cool. So here I'm going to create a class again, test. So here before launching an app I need to create the driver, right? So how I'm going to create a driver is driver equals to driver. So here I'm going to import the driver here which I've created, driver manager driver.driver. Cool. And in this I'm going to call this method create driver and return, right? This will help me to create all the driver with all the desired capabilities, and it will return the driver object. So after driver object, I'll just print this driver dot page. So finally I'll add a sleep and then driver dot quit. So why we have written in this way is going forward when we write more number of test cases, this just one line of a function will help us to create a driver with all the desired capabilities, and it will give the driver object to further continue with the test case, right? So in this way we are going to make use of already written code in a multiple places that will increase the reusability. So that is one of the reason of having this driver in a separate place and calling it in our framework. So let's run this particular test case. So here I need to rename the class name with the test, right? So that I'll be able to run it here. Before running it, let's start the Appium server. Appium P4726. This is the port which we have used in our test case. So I'm going to run the Appium server on the same port. Case is ready. Let me execute this particular test case and see how it works. Just clicking on run button here. Oh yeah, it is failing with some error. It is failing with some driver issue. And if you scroll down, right, it is saying attribute error. So let's debug this particular error here. I'm going inside this create driver return, and here I see one issue that given the IP address as 128, ideally it should be 127, and port number is correct. And okay, let me go inside this get option and see if I've given correct. Okay, so this XCUI test options is a class, so here I need to put two brackets here to call any of the class and create an object out of it. And here if you see I'm not returning options here. return options. So here I'm creating all these details and I should return back this option so that I can make use of these options in the test case. So now options are coming to this object and I'm making use of these options here, and the port number is also correct, and I'm returning the driver. So let's go back to our test case here, and I've corrected the issues what we have. Now let's run it and see how it looks. So this is iPhone device which we are seeing here. I have mirrored this iPhone device. So it is installing the WebDriver agent here, and it launched the Amazon application, right? So this is how we can simplify our test case by putting all the configuration related in the other files and importing it and making it as a reusable functions, right? So this test case is completed. Now we are going to use this particular method driver creation for all our upcoming test cases. So try this and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.